Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca L. Norrington. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of the audience. Thank you for telling your friends. I mean, the show is getting more and more popular. I don't get it. I'm not one of those marketers, and it's just not my thing. My thing is sharing with you, my dear audience, how the hell to experience more happiness. And when I say happiness, I'm talking about how to navigate through this life, how to navigate with the challenges, with the struggles, with all of the things, with the program feelings that we're having, all of the things, all of life's ups and downs, the roller coaster that we call life. How to get through it and still feel peaceful. How to go through every moment rooted in contentment, rooted in peace, rooted in feeling balanced and relaxed. That's all I know how to do. Well, I know how to do a few things too, but for the most part, that's why I'm here. So I really appreciate you sharing with your friends or people that you know the show, because I get new listeners every single week. With that said, who the hell is Rebecca Norrington, happiness specialist? The nerve of her. What? Well, today is going to be a show about self-reveal. I titled it Before and After, and I've been on the radio for over 8 years and been guest on hundreds of shows and heard all over in 160 countries. Yes, that's right. Being on radio shows that have that kind of an audience. But I really don't talk about who I was before this happiness specialist, before I gave myself this title of happiness specialist. And if you're not interested, you might as well just cut the show off right now. But I want to, this is full disclosure today. And it's full disclosure because of what's going on in the news. But before that, I want to let you know how you can find me. You can email me at info@RebeccaNorrington.com. I've had a few people email me, and then I email back, and I don't get a response. So hopefully that email is working. But you can contact me via that. Facebook, Reality Spirituality is the Facebook page. Twitter is RL Norrington. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on YouTube. So what else? Oh, Instagram. My Instagram is Reality Spirituality. Find me, contact me. I'm here to offer whatever kind of information. More than that, perspective, what I've learned in the decades of studying this topic of happiness. And before I go on with that, let me give you my definition of happiness. My definition of happiness is, some people have a problem with that word. My definition is to be able to feel, to be at peace, balanced, relaxed. You know how you feel when your shoulders are down, when you feel calm, when you feel connected? My definition of happiness is to have that feeling, have that vibration, have that energy, regardless of what's happening outside. I don't care if it's a tsunami outside your front door. It doesn't matter. You can go through, you can journey through, you can navigate through this life with that energy. And the only reason why we don't navigate through the life with this calm, peaceful energy is because of the programming that we all received, myself included, that emotions are attached to different events. Emotions are attached to circumstances. I get emotional because A, B, and C happens. It's actually a formula. Especially in the United States, when somebody dies, people have the same emotion of sadness, of depression, of regret, of mourning. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I want you to know that was because you were programmed. You were programmed to feel that. Our emotions are programmed, and when you really get that you've been programmed to feel a certain way when certain things happen and certain things don't happen, you're programmed to feel when people say things. Listen, I like to be specific. And what's in the news today, and if you've listened to the show, you know I'm a huge, don't judge me. Judge me if you want. I'm good with it. I'm good with all judgments. I'm good. But I like rap music. I don't like all rap music, but I've liked rap music for a while now. And I've gone from my favorite rap artists from Lil Wayne to, who else do I like? I like LL Cool J back in the day. And who else? But now my new girl is Cardi B. And just bear with me, you people that hate rap or don't like rap, because there's lessons in every moment. You know, every moment is an opportunity for growth. Every moment is an opportunity for a lesson. And when I say growth, I'm talking about a more consciousness, more perspectives, because the more perspectives you are able to have and the more open you are able to be, open to new perspectives, the more balanced, the more peaceful, the more happiness you will feel. So it's really not about the rap music. It's not about, it's about the lessons. It's not about, someone dying. It's about the lessons and the growth that occurs when we are all challenged by certain things that we resist. And I even had a resistant moment yesterday that I'm going to share after this story about what's in the news. Now, for you non-rap rap people, it's a very quick story, and it has nothing to do with rap music. It has something to do with human behavior. Scratch that. Programmed human behavior. So Cardi B is a new up-and-coming rapper, and I like her. She's she's great. Her story, she started as a young girl. She started as a stripper. She stripped for years, and she was always interested in music and rapping. And she grew up in a very poor family, didn't have a lot, and so she was a grinder. She was somebody that went out and worked, and the only thing not the only thing, because she had a lot of different jobs, but finally she started making money while she was stripping. Bottom line is this. So she's made it. She's famous. She's been on numerous other artists' CDs and music. She was going to be touring with Bruno Mars, blah, 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 blah. And there's another very famous rapper, too, Nicki Minaj, which I like Nicki Minaj, too. So now we get these female rappers, and I don't know what's going on, but it seems like there's always a fight for I'm better than you, you're better than me. And it's like nobody can share the stage. It's always a battle of I'm the best and you're not. I'm great and you're garbage. It's really funny. It's like Beyonce doesn't get on stage and say, well, Adele is crap. But there's something in the rap community that there's this challenge of I'm the top and you're beneath me. So it's that mindset. And I don't try to understand it. It's just a fact, and I'm not judging it. Oh, by the way, if you want to call in and speak with me live, the number is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. So this story isn't really about rap music. It is about human behavior. And the title of the show today is Before and After. And last week, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj were at the same event. And this event was really, really upscale. I think it was the Fashion Week. I mean, it was the hoity-toity, my nose is up in the air. It was the hoitiest and toitiest event for Fashion Week, and everybody's dressed up in couture. And Cardi B is very reactive. She's from the Bronx, New York, and this woman, she's even said it in her songs. She's got to work on her anger. That's one of her lyrics in her songs. I got to work on my anger. I'll kill a bitch with my fingers. Sorry. But and so she admits that she's temperamental. But listen, who hasn't had a temper? So it's not about the rap. It's the rap music. It's really about human behavior, programmed human behavior. And so what happened was this week, apparently Cardi B has heard a lot of Nicki Minaj is talking crap about her. Cardi B is she's new on the scene, and she's not going after someone else. But anyway, Cardi B just had a child, and she thought that Nicki Minaj said something about her parenting skills or something about her child. And I have to say that I don't know if it was premeditated or it was planned, but when Cardi B got in the same vicinity of Nicki Minaj, I'm thinking, within a few feet, a few yards. I'm not clear about how close she was, but Cardi B took off. This is what happens. I mean, people are fighters. I can't relate because I've never been in a fight in my life. I mean, I've fought with my mouth, with my words, but I don't know. I'm not a swinger and a puncher. I wouldn't know how to connect. I do know how to run, however. I can run away quickly. Never been in a fight, but apparently girls that know that when they want to fight, they snatch off their earrings, and Cardi B wasn't close enough to Nicki Minaj, and so Cardi B took off her shoe, and threw it at Nicki Minaj. Okay, follow the story, because it's not about rappers, because I'm going to challenge everybody in my audience. How many of you out there haven't thrown anything in anger? I mean, I don't know if you've thrown it at somebody, but thrown an object in anger. Maybe thrown it at somebody. So this is really about that story and getting to that point where you're so pissed off and your temper is so hot that you need to throw something. Now the only difference is they're in a place where it's like going to the Vatican and throwing a shoe, or it's like going to a library. It just wasn't the time or the place. Not that any time and a place is good for throwing a shoe. So it was a big problem. Cardi B had to be restrained. So much so that the security with the restraint, she gets a cut on her forehead. And now the whole world, not the whole world, but the whole rap community, the people that are into both of their music are picking sides, including very famous people from Jennifer Lopez to who else is stopped following Cardi B. I don't know, but it's a big back and forth thing now. Thank you for still sticking with me with this story. This is my point. I am not here trying to pretend that all my life I was this looking for peace, choosing peace over drama, quiet, happy person. The reason why I went on this journey, I was forced to go on this journey, is because I had a temper that you would not even believe. I've thrown things. I remember, this is so bad, but I'm exposing it. I remember when I first was married, and I got so angry, and I'm telling you, the anger isn't about the other person. It is never about the husband, the ex-husband now, but it's never. Which, believe it or not, we're good friends. I mean, I texted him 2 days ago. We were texting back and forth 2 days ago. So, but I thought it was always about him. He was the one that was making me angry. He was the one that I blamed for all of my anger, my temper. I remember picking up while we were married, I think it was maybe the first year of our marriage. We had our marriage license framed, hanging on the wall. I don't know why I framed a marriage license, but I framed it and put it on the wall. I remember taking it off the wall and throwing it and breaking the glass. I remember when my son was younger, he was maybe 3 years old, and he wanted to go on a little child roller coaster, not a really big roller coaster, the kind that they have at one of those parks that they just set up for the weekend, a little mini roller coaster, and he wanted to go on. And and at the middle of the ride, I'm looking at my boy, and he's getting this face. He's starting to cry because he's getting afraid. He's afraid, and he doesn't like the ride. I mean, it was okay for the first maybe 30 seconds, but after a while, after a few little mini hills, his face was getting all screwed up, and he wanted off that roller coaster. And I'm saying all this to say because the fight started when Cardi B threw her shoe. She said that she could take Nicki Minaj saying anything about her, anything about her music, all of that. But when Nicki Minaj mentioned Cardi B's parenting skills or talking about her child or talking about her as a mother, Cardi B said she just lost it. And she didn't say it. She threw the shoe. I mean, you don't have to say it. She threw a shoe because that was the final breaking point. That was the last straw. With all that said, back to my story. This parenting thing and being a mama bear and wanting to protect your child, is real. I mean, I can feel it. I'm looking at my boy having this face getting, first his eyes get a little funny looking and his face starts squinching up. And then the second time I see him going around the little track, because, sometimes their backs are to you so you can't see the face, he's in full-blown tears. Now, me as a mommy, I'll never forget. What is he, 33 years now? So it's 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I remember holding his teddy bear, because I think he won a teddy bear, or we won a teddy bear for him. I remember holding a teddy bear in my hand, and I was I was running to the guy that was running the roller coaster. And I said, you need to stop it right now. My son's crying. This roller coaster has to stop. And he looks down, because he's up on this platform. And he looks down at me and he says, well, the ride is another minute. In other words, he was telling me that he wasn't going to stop the ride. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no, you are going to stop the ride because my son's crying. You are going to stop the ride, and you're going to stop the ride now. And I said, stop it now. And he's like, shakes his head, no, he can't. Audience, I have a teddy bear in my hand. He's up on a platform. I grab that teddy bear, and I start hitting him at his legs, at his feet, because I can't reach him. Or I probably would have hit him in the head. If I could have reached the controls, I would have stopped it myself. That's how this emotional mama bear, papa bear just engulfed me, because my husband was just standing. He's he wasn't one to take action on anything anyway. It's just out of his nature. I'm telling you, I was screaming at the top of my lungs, hitting that man with the teddy bear. Stop it, stop it, stop it now. Screaming at the top of, now that I think about it, Jesus Christ. Jesus. Now, wait a minute. That's normal behavior, right? Well, whatever kind of behavior was, because husband wasn't doing anything. And you know what else? Husband was highly embarrassed. He told me. Everybody was looking at you. Why were you screaming? The ride was going to stop in another minute. I didn't want my son to suffer 1 minute. So this happiness specialist, during those times, during her 20s, I was in my 30s. During my 30s, 20s, teenage, 20s, 30s, 40s, I wasn't this happy person. I wasn't happy. I wasn't running around here looking for peace. Another moment was when my son was playing in the park. He was a little bit older. Maybe he was five. I know he was still young, though. And he was, at the park they have those rocket ships. They're made out of metal, and you climb through the center of them all the way up at the top. Well, at the top of this rocket ship, there were 2 kids that were throwing soda on the kids below. And my son comes back to me, and I could see him looking up. He comes back to me wet with soda. I went ballistic. Don't tell me out there, my dear audience, that you haven't experienced having a temper, or at least known somebody that's had a temper. And if you don't display your temper, if you don't display it, I know that it's happening internally, because that is the program. I was this person that was volatile, temperamental, yeller, screamer, my way, the highway. And I could sit up here and rationalize why, or justify why I was like that, being raised in a house where I didn't have a voice. I really had to do, and I'm controlled by what especially father said, what mother said, because if I didn't do what mother said, mother told father, and then it was a problem. I actually got a spanking with a belt at 17 years old. So with all of that said, I went out and moved out at 18. I went out to the world in a rage, in a don't piss me off, because now I wasn't a fighter. I couldn't fight you, but I could definitely make you feel like a piece of crap with my words. My words were my weapon, and I would cut low, below the belt, not only with my mother, with my father, with before even with my ex-husband, boyfriends, friends, quote, friends. That is who I was. I was angered easily. I was, I had this sense of don't F with me because you just don't want to. You don't want to feel my wrath or my fury. I remember having an incident with ex-husband now, with that family. I'm sharing all this because what happened is that didn't feel good anymore. I was raising a boy, and at 12 years old, when he was 12 years old, 11 years old, he got a C, or was it a D, on his report card, and he couldn't bring it to me. he couldn't bring it to me. He signed my name on his report card. He couldn't bring it to me because he was afraid of my reaction. He was afraid of my temperament. He was afraid of my temper, of what I would do or what I would say. That's how much, and let me say something, my ego loved this false, fake illusion of I want somebody to be afraid of me. I mean, I grew up being afraid in my house, and I wanted, either you grow up being, wanting to be the one that is people fear, or you're going to grow up being afraid of everything. So I wanted to be the one that struck fear. And you mean, come on, can't fight. I wanted to be the one that struck fear in people's lives. That made me feel like I had the upper hand. I mean, I'm just being honest. I had the upper hand. You don't cross me, because I will F with you. I mean, whether it's call your job. I mean, I would find a way. I'm exhausted even just telling the story. My ex-husband was blamed for so much of my unhappiness. You know, the truth of the matter is, I got to a point where my son couldn't come to me, and I was told straight on, that's your fault. And anybody listening to this, if you're still listening, if you're listening to this, if you have children, they're not going to tell you everything if you have a temper or they know that you can get angry. You're not going to get everything from your child. You're going to get some things, but you're not going to get everything. And one of my jobs as a parent, is to be able to be there for my son, regardless of what it is. I remember my son telling me this is how I had to change so much, that he actually told me one time of there were more than one time, but different situations. I don't know if I could share. We'll just say this. He took a substance. It was some kind of drug. He took a substance, and he was able to tell me that he took this substance, and I'm thinking, and the only thing I could say to him was, there was no yelling or mad or why did you do it, but the kid was able to tell me that he took this substance that, trust me, it's up there with crack cocaine, okay? It wasn't like smoking weed or taking a glass of wine. It was up there. It was of the substance. It was one of those big daddy substances. And all I remember telling him was, did you, and I asked him this question, I said, did you do that on your own or did somebody give it to you? And I said, if somebody gave it to you, just know that they're not your friend. That's all I could say. That's all I said. But there was no temper. There was no, well, why did you do it? None of that. I think I don't even know if I'm still on the topic. I don't even know. This before and after, who I was before, my son says it all the time. I don't even recognize you, Mom. I don't even recognize you. I don't even know who you are. Because that person who I used to be always had to be right. Oh, I was right all the time. I would argue you down. I would argue on the phone for hours. I would have fights on the phone. Oh, here we go. Fights on the phone with all boyfriends. Hanging up on them. I'm hanging up. You know that, hang up. Oh, and then if they called back, I'd hang up again. That's who I was. Can you believe that? I'd hang up again if you called me back. Oh, God. I'm really trying to remember these things because not that I blocked anything out or oh, I don't want to remember the past. It's so different of who I am now. And I'm not here to say that, I'm just this peaceful person, because quite frankly, yesterday my ego was tried. I was at the senior center and I was in charge of washing dishes, and then, at the end of the shift, after 4 hours of washing dishes and cooking and going back to wash dishes, because, you have to keep washing them because we run out of dishes. Now you get the pots, and you get the pans, and you get the big pans, and you get the cast iron pots, and you get all of those things with all the batter that's stuck on that's hard. I said it out loud. I said, I'm not washing this heavy-duty stuff. I mean, I can wash it. And I said it out loud because that's all ego, resisting, because that was me the other day. Oh, and the one lady that was there, she says, I'll do whatever it's necessary. If they need me at the senior center, because it's all volunteer, if they need me at the senior center, I'll clean toilets if I have to. And I said out loud, this was just yesterday, I said out loud, I'm not cleaning toilets. And immediately I knew, number one, it didn't feel good. It didn't feel peaceful. It didn't feel balanced. It didn't feel happy. It didn't feel content at all. It felt a lot of resistance. Anytime I'm saying to the universe, I'm not going to do this, I will never do that, why wouldn't I clean toilets? Why wouldn't I want to scrub off the heavy duty? It's like cleaning an oven. I don't wash my own dishes. I rinse them and put them in a dishwasher, and I kept justifying why I would make the stance. But in the meantime, I'm feeling not peaceful, people. I'm feeling the resistance. I'm knowing I'm resisting. And the problem was I said it out loud. Jesus. And there are some days and some moments when my ego is exposed, and my ego, I'm going to say, gets a win. But not anymore. I've already let the ego know that wherever you come, wherever you attack me, wherever you are, whatever corner you come out of, I'm going to be ready for you, and I will wash those, the hard-to-wash dishes, hard-to-wash pots and pans, burn. You know how it gets, especially if it's not soaked right away. It's not soaked, and now you have to scrub. Oh, geez, that's the other thing. And the scouring pads there are just not the cleanest, and what am I washing things with dirty scour? It was a day of resistance. Not a day, it was moments of resistance. And if they need me, oh, God, I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud. And if they need me to clean the bathroom, and if they need me to clean the toilet, I will do that too, ego. Because prioritizing peace, prioritizing happiness, prioritizing and surrendering to everything and not resisting any moment and humbling my ego is the only thing that's going to take me to another level of consciousness and peace and awareness. It's the only thing. Anytime I say I'm not going to, now I'm not going to run over a little girl that's 3 years old with a truck. I'm not going to do that. But this humbling of the ego is huge for me. And I'll share another story. One of my the closest person in my life is retiring. And they were saying, I cannot wait. And they were talking about getting another job. And they were saying, I cannot wait to tell people I'm a janitor, or I shine shoes, or I clean toilets. And I said, well, how can you say that? How can you feel good about saying that? I really don't understand it. How can you be okay with telling the world you're a janitor, or that you clean toilets, or that you are shining shoes? But the truth is, my ego is the only one resisting that. Because there's a very famous story in the Bible about somebody that they call Jesus. And there's a story about Jesus washing someone else's feet. It's the same mentality. When you make a commitment and you are committed and to growth and to happiness and to peace and contentment and honestly to contributing that to the world, there is no room for the ego of I won't do, I can't do, I'm not going to do. I don't even recognize myself, and I can't wait to go back to that senior center, and I can't wait to go back every other Saturday, and I can't wait to go back there and scrub those dishes that nobody rinses out, or they let it get hard and it doesn't get water in it, and it's just so hard to clean. I can't wait to go back to accept whatever role they need me to take on, whatever job, whatever menial job it is. It's called ego busting, folks. Your ego does not want any peace for you. Trust me on this one. Your ego does not want to call the person back first. Your ego does not want you to apologize first. Your ego does not want you to surrender. Your ego doesn't want any of that. But I'm here to say this. My ego is not in charge anymore. Because the ego doesn't want what I want. I don't want to be like I used to be, having rules, having a list of what I won't do. I am here to serve the world in whatever capacity that looks like. Oh, by the way, it's a volunteer job. I am here to serve in whatever capacity the universe sets at my feet or brings to me. That's it. And I would have never said that. I think I told you the story. When I first started volunteering at the senior center, it hasn't even been 2 months. I said when I walked in there, I wasn't going to wash dishes. And they just break me down and break me down and break me down and break me down and break me down. If I'm the world's only happiness specialist, I have to walk it. I can't just talk it. And your ego, my dear audience, your ego is the only one that doesn't want peace for you. And you might say, well, it's pride. Pride and peace, they do not even live. They can't live together. They don't live together. There's no such thing as pride and peace living in the same place. So, before and after, you got a little taste of who I was before, and I mean a little taste. ooh-wee, temperamental, bossy, ooh-wee, yelling, yelling at people, yelling to, like I said, screaming at the top of my lungs at somebody else. How many people, I've lost track, screaming, and if you're listening to the show, sometimes you might think I'm screaming at you, but it's passion. And the only thing that changed me, well, there's a lot of things. I was looking for happiness so long, and looking for it. It's got to be in a trip. It's got to be in how much money I make. It's got to be in my relationship. It's got to mean in a job I have. Oh, I know if I get this job, I know I'm going to feel good. I know if I get a job with an office, oh, I want an office so bad. I thought having an office would make me feel so good. Not a little cubicle, an office. I wanted an office. That's who I used to be. You know, when I went to visit California a few months ago, I wound up, there was the Airbnbs didn't work out. And I remember not really having a place to stay. I didn't want to ask, I just didn't want to ask anybody, could I stay at their house? I just didn't want to do that. And there was a convention in town, and all of the places were booked. It was crazy. And I remember going to a medical center because I had a doctor's appointment. And I remember thinking, I said, I'm going to stay in this lobby. I was all set to sleep in the lobby. And one of the receptionists, she told me, because the car wasn't working, it was just the whole thing. I said, I'll sleep in the lobby. I was going to make it an adventure. There was no way I would have slept in a lobby. Breaking your ego down, humbling the ego, not allowing the ego to drive. You're on your way to a peaceful, happier, balanced, relaxed, satisfied moments. The only reason why you resist is your ego. Your ego's resisting. You're not resisting. Okay, that's it. Before and after. I don't even know what I see. Then let me look at my notes here. Something carnival ride. Yes, I told you that. Yes. Poor husband. Not poor husband. And that's another thing. These relationships that you see with people out there, and you choose a side. Well, he's mean, and she should get out, or he's being taken advantage of, and she should get. Listen, these people are living their destiny. These people are playing out the roles that they need to play out to get to another level. Stay out of everybody else's business. Know that whatever relationship anybody is in the middle of they need it. They need it. You might not like it. And I'm really talking about you parents. These people need it. And this thing about, she's better than that. She's too good for him or he's too good for her. Trust me, they're doing a dance together. They need each other. I'm only saying this because I used to always take my mother's side, and I'm telling you, both of them were doing a dance, and they both needed each other on that journey. Do I get it? Do I understand it? Would I have liked it? No. That's enough of this. All right, Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. My YouTube channel, just go search Rebecca Norrington. Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon.com. My second book that I'm writing is called Program for Unhappiness. Will be out sometime one of these days. How's that? Instagram, yes, I'm as Reality and Spirituality. Go to Facebook and like the Reality Spirituality Facebook page. So until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always growing. You're always changing. You're always evolving. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. That's from Abraham. You can. I just want to make sure that people don't think that that's my quote. My favorite quote from Abraham is, remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. Have a conscious week, everyone. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality.